Did you know that Ghana had to pay $80,000 to FIFA for Black Stars players who got yellow cards at the 2022 FIFA World Cup? I guess you don't know about it. Well, Ghana has paid FIFA $80,000 for Black Stars players who received yellow cards at the 2022 FIFA World Cup in Qatar. We're going to talk extensively about it here on Sports Update Ghana. Well, we'll also talk about English-born Ghanaian player Jesron Raksechi, who has disclosed that he wants to play for the Black Stars. That means that he will switch nationalities from England to come and play for the Black Stars. Well, he came through the ranks of playing for Chelsea before joining Crystal Palace. Last season, he was on loan at Charlton Athletic and ended up as the Charlton Athletic best player of the season. Well, we'll talk about Jesron Raksechi, the young winger, in a brief moment. Then we also remember the Azuma Zuzu Nelsons. Yes, the Professor Azuma Zuzu Nelsons. He turned 65 years old today on July 19th, 2023. So we'll remember Azuma Nelson whilst he lives and not when he is dead. Well, more coming up very shortly, but before that, please subscribe to the channel before we get into it. Like, share, and don't forget to leave a comment. So let's get right into it. And the Ghana Football Association has revealed that Ghana had to pay $80,000 to the World Football Governing Body, FIFA, for Black Stars players who got yellow cards at the 2022 FIFA World Cup in Qatar. Well, according to the Ghana Football Association, the association had to pay $80,000 to FIFA for 8 Black Stars players who got yellow cards at the 2022 FIFA World Cup. Well, per investigations, each player who gets a yellow card at the World Cup goes at a cost of $10,000. So if a player gets a yellow card, it means that country will get to pay $10,000 as fine. Well, Ghana had 8 players who got yellow cards, meaning that Ghana had to pay $80,000. So in our first game against Portugal, which we lost by 3-2, the Black Stars of Ghana got 4 yellow cards in that particular encounter. Then in our 3-2 win over South Korea, we got 2 yellow cards. Then our final game also, we got 2 yellow cards, making 8 players who got yellow cards at the 2022 FIFA World Cup as the Black Stars of Ghana exited at the group stages. In fact, we didn't even cross the group stages, and look at the number of players who got yellow cards. So let's look at the players who got the yellow cards for the Black Stars at the 2022 FIFA World Cup. So in our first game at the 2022 FIFA World Cup, the players were Mohamed Kudus, Andrea Ayew, Alidu Seidu, and Inaki Williams. These 4 players got yellow cards in Ghana's first game against Portugal. Then in our second game against South Korea, Daniel Amate and Tariq Lamptey ended up picking yellow cards in that game as well. Then in our final game against Uruguay, it was Alidu Seidu who picked his second yellow card at the tournament, as well as Kamaldeen Sulemana, who also picked a yellow card in that particular game against Uruguay. So these are the 8 players who picked yellow cards for Ghana at the 2022 FIFA World Cup as we bowed out at the group stages, confirming Ghana's payment on the yellow cards decision. Well, this was what the spokesperson of the Ghana Football Association, Henry Asante Chum, told Angel TV in an interview. He said, "We paid $80,000 for yellow cards acquisition at the 2022 FIFA World Cup." And that is what Henry Asante Chum said, confirming that indeed Ghana has paid $80,000 for the yellow cards accumulated by Black Stars players at the 2022 FIFA World Cup. But nonetheless, you said that it's a huge money, but Ghana made millions out of the World Cup. Well, we ended up getting about $30 million for participating at the World Cup, which we played 3 games. So if you say 3 games, we've spent $80,000. That $80,000 does not even get to one player's appearance fee at the World Cup. Black Stars players were paid around $100,000 for as appearance fee at the 2022 FIFA World Cup. So although it is money, well, I would say that Ghana has earned a lot. So we'll just take some small amount of money from that particular 30 million we've made from the World Cup, then we'll use that one to pay. So that is how the FIFA World Cup goes. If you get a yellow card, you end up paying a fine. It's not even in the FIFA World Cup alone. UEFA Champions League, playing in the AFCON and all that, many tournaments you pay yellow cards. I don't know for the Ghana Premier League. I think clubs also pay a fine for players who get yellow cards and red cards in that particular aspect. So the Black Stars of Ghana will be looking forward to qualify for the next World Cup in 2026 as they come up against the likes of Mali, Madagascar, Central African Republic and countries like Chad in that particular aspect. So yes, the next World Cup, Ghana will be looking forward to qualify, and hopefully that particular encounter will not get more yellow cards in that tournament. Well, away from that, let me tell you about the new English sensation who has agreed to play for the Black Stars. I'm talking about Jesron Raksechi. Yes, the young player who plies his trade with Crystal Palace in the English Premier League has told his former coach at Charlton Athletic that he would one day prefer to play for Black Stars at the World Cup. Jesron Raksechi came through the ranks of playing for Chelsea, and unfortunately he was released from Chelsea's academy, then ended up joining Crystal Palace, where he made his debut in the Premier League. Well, shortly after making his debut, he went on loan at Charlton Athletic last season, and he was voted as the player of the season at Charlton Athletic. Whilst with Charlton Athletic, well, his coach confirmed that the player told him he wants to play for Ghana in future. So speaking in an interview, this was what Charlton Athletic's head coach Anthony Hayes had to say about Jesron Raksechi's choice to play for the Black Stars. He said Jesron Raksechi has ambitions to play in the Premier League and represents Ghana to play in the World Cup. As simple as that, confirming that the player wants to play for the Black Stars in future at the World Cup. He's one player that, if you've monitored this channel, I've been always talking about that we can get him to play for under 20, under 23 and stuff. So it doesn't necessarily mean that he has to come and automatically play in the Black Stars. So he has to go through the system and procedure of playing for the youth team. Then people will be getting to know who Raksechi is. So when he's introduced in the Black Stars, people will not say, who is this young boy? We've gone for him and doesn't know how to play, blah, 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 blah. So that is my thought about Raksechi coming to play for the Black Stars. Last season for Charlton Athletic, he made 43 appearances and scored 15 goals and got 8 assists, giving him 23 goal contributions in 43 games. And I think that Raksechi is a young winger we have to turn our focus on and hopefully get him to play for the Ghana national team before England decides to swoop in on the young winger. So enough of the football, let's talk about boxing, because Ghana's greatest boxer of all time, the Professor Azuma Zuzu Nelsons, marked his 65th birthday today on July 19, 2023. That is when Azuma Nelsons turned 65 years. He was born on July 19, 1958, and that was when Azuma Nelsons was born. He was born in Accra, Ghana, and Azuma had exceptional talent and unwavering determination that made him one of the most revered boxers to emerge out of the African continent. Over the years in his illustrious career, Azuma Nelsons engaged in a total of 47 fights, displaying his exceptional skills and set the records to become one of Africa's great boxers. Some of his best knockout victories were against Jeff Fennick, Julian Laporte, Gabriel Ruelas, and Jim McDonnell, among others. Out of those fights, he experienced only 6 defeats and 2 draws, with an outstanding 28 victories that came by way of knockout, showcasing his devastating power and superior boxing abilities. Azuma Nelsons was a 2-weight world champion, having held the WBC featherweight title from 1984 to 1987 and the WBC super featherweight title twice in 1988 and 1997. Currently, the Professor is ranked as the 31st greatest pound-for-pound boxer of all time, according to BoxRec. And Azuma Nelsons, who is widely regarded as Africa's greatest boxer of all time, was inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame in 2004. So that is a brief history on the Professor himself, Azuma Zuzu Nelsons, as he celebrates his 65th birthday. Share your thoughts in the comment section about your birthday messages to Azuma Nelsons as he marks his 65th birthday, and also what you make of Ghana paying $80,000 to FIFA for players who receive yellow card at the World Cup. Then Jesron Raksechi says that he wants to play for the Black Stars? Share your thoughts in the comment section. My name is Joseph Adamafio, and it was a pleasure coming your way with a sports update. Until then, thanks for doing the watching. Please subscribe, like, share, and don't forget to leave a comment. See you in the next one.